Alright, what is up YouTube? It's your boy Solo Milbro, and today we're gonna be taking a look at how I'm farming, well basically farming ISK during the war, so I can pay for my monthly Omega accounts. This is gonna be a multi-boxing thing, so it's gonna be like a little bit more intermediate player based, someone who's been playing like a couple months of the game, or if you're paying for Omega, and if you're paying for multiple accounts, then this is probably something that you might want to get into. And you can't fly supers. There's a neutral in system. Well, there's a hostile in system, so I'm just gonna go to my safe. Basically what we're trying to do here is we're gonna smart bomb havens, and smart bombing havens in Macarials, because Macarials, and also this guy, I've killed this guy twice already. We're looking, is he has a Hecate. Let's see if we can kill him now. So what I've been doing, basically I've been smart bombing havens with Macarials and Dominics for the most part. The funny story is I was smart bombing havens with 4 Macarials, but for some reason, like, there was an instance where the power went out, and then yeah, I lost one Macarial. It was the cheapest one, it was the gunner, so you're gonna need something similar to this. So basically you want to AoE down all of the rats in a haven, and that's gonna give you some damn ticks basically. So I'm in Blood Raider space right now. That's why all of my smart bombs are EM damage, because that's the defensive hole for Blood Raiders. And it's the faction bombs, because these have the largest radius. So basically you get more, the area of effect is higher. If you see here, you click compare and you check out the range of these area of effect. Yeah, so except for the officer groups, the faction groups have like the highest. And when you think about it, these cost like 10 billion ISK, so it's probably not a good way of spending your money if the return on investment on that is gonna be insane. Well, not insane, it's gonna be like really not good if you're spending 10 billion ISK to make whatever, like 20 M ticks per character. But yeah, so we're gonna be sticking with the faction smart bombs, because they have a pretty decent range. So this is the fit that we're going for. Basically you put all of your faction smart bombs, and then you're gonna get resistances to EM and thermal damage. So thermal, because Blood Raiders do thermal damage as well, EM and thermal, and the EM hardeners are basically there so that you don't die to your other smart bombing ships. So yeah, ideally this could fit better. As you can see, I'm not quite cap stable, so if you want to, you can replace one of these cap chargers with a faction cap charger. So Dark Blood is the cheapest one, because goons have farmed the shit out of Blood Raiders, so you're gonna get cheaper faction items from Blood Raider rats. Basically they're way cheap in the market. Even these are really cheap, because again, goons have been farming Blood Raiders for a while now, and the market is saturated with Blood Raider faction items. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And ideally you'd want to have a gunner. Right now I'm using a Dominics. This isn't ideal. You'd want to have something like this. Basically, let me show you Macarial, but this works well enough. that I wouldn't want to change it right now. So you want faction, and also I don't really have the skills to make the faction guns hit as hard as I want them to. So ship tree. Just gonna show you right here real quick. So I don't have the damage for the Machariel to make it worthwhile. Also, I lost a ship. I lost this ship because of like a power outage thing. My power went out and it was in Hull, and then I wasn't able to like micro jump drive out. And you know, when I came back, I was in a pod. So I lost like 900 million ISK because of that, and I'm still salty. Anyway, so ideally this would be the fit that you would go for your gunner ship. So this is basically this fit is designed to catch anything that goes out of your kill range of your smart bombs. Also, we have 3 smart bombs here. It just helps with like the overall AoE DPS that you're gonna be doing. So you're gonna be killing rats as well as shooting anything that falls out of range. Again, you're gonna be loading EM ammo because that's the hole in the Blood Raiders the Blood Raider rats. So if you're gonna be doing Guristas or Sanchas, then just adapt accordingly. Just change up the fits, just change up the hardeners, and the type of smart bombs that you're gonna be using. So without any further ado, I'm gonna stop talking now. Oh, by the way, this is just a normal, like a normal Dominic's fit. Basically, this is what I've been using Terrat for a couple months now to get me to this point. And if you guys want to see a tutorial video of that, it's pretty boring. You can basically just AFK farm that with a Dominic's. But this is what I've been using for a while now. What I mainly use, and it's pretty cheap too. What I mainly use for just catching, because this is gonna be like the gunner / catcher ship. I just use sentry drones, and that's pretty much it. So let me show you my method, and hopefully you learn something from this. And let's go. So basically, you want to be in fleet with every single one of your characters, right? And then you're gonna add everyone to a watch list. So here you're gonna put that here, maybe, yeah. So that way. So that way it's gonna be easier for you to see like everyone's HP. Add to watch list. So you want to be in fleet, go to broadcast history. It just makes things way easier. So you undock, you find a haven, and right now, and you might be wondering why I'm doing this, with Machariels, why not supers? Because individually ticks with supers are gonna be better and more consistent, and it's less risky, I believe. But then there's a war going on, supers have been nerfed, and the level of entry for this sort of thing, for this setup, is way easier to achieve than supers. Like if I train for a super, for example, ship tree, like let's say I train for a Nyx, that's gonna take me That's gonna take me 128 days just to ride one, and that's not taking into account like all of the other support skills that would make this build viable. Anyway, there's people coming into the system, and I don't want it. They might take my fucking. So let's just scan real quick. Scan. No one's there. Okay, so you warp to fleet to 0. You control space with your main ship. Have your main gunner ship be the one that is like the lead ship that warps everyone, and then you control space with your ship to stop it, and then you warp with your gunner ship to the area around like 30 km or 50 km. Unfortunately, this isn't gonna be like the haven that we're looking for because it didn't show the pop-up when I stopped. So this is gonna be we're gonna ignore this because this is a haven that you don't want. I'm thinking, yeah, this is it. This isn't the haven that you want. This is like the ones with the spread out, units, so that's not what you want. You're gonna need to like go here, so you just ignore the result for that, ignore the result for that, and then move on to the next haven basically. So it's easier here to like keep track of all your characters, so you know that, you know, when you're supposed to warp out for each of these. Hopefully the haven's not taken, so I can show you guys this. And it's funny because this also has an advantage against supers, wherein you have competition on in the system. Oh, by the way, let me just, before I make that point, once your ship gets there, you click align to like the ship that gets there first, and then once it starts aligning, you just spam A, click to the align to, except for your gunner ship. So your gunner ship's gonna be waiting here to catch any stragglers, right? So all of your ships are going inside the pirate gate. So you right click, broadcast align to, you're gonna be seeing it here, and then you're just gonna align straight into that pirate gate. Some people use like afterburners to make sure that they get to that gate really fast, but I don't think that's necessary, especially if you have a gunner ship that has, so once the rat shows up, you just start blowing stuff up, and hopefully they all blow up. So yeah, I don't think that's necessary, especially if you have a gunner. And it also like makes fitting harder, so I wouldn't suggest that. So you're gonna start enjoying the fireworks here for a bit. So everyone's health goes down. Just make sure that all of your hardeners and all of your, you know, defensive stuff is on, so that way you don't die. So if this happens, I'm just gonna turn off my like smart bombs, because that guy's no longer in range, right? So I'm just gonna keep shooting him, just to save a little bit of like, you know, just to save a little bit of HP, a little bit of cap, because again, my fits aren't cap stable. You'd want like an extra faction battery for that, so that way everything is cap stable. So once this dies, once all the ships appear here, I'm gonna start smart bombing again. Right, there you go. And then I'm just gonna make sure that check the velocity. So you're gonna see if the ship is most likely to get out of this kill zone right here. If their velocity goes like above 100, that means they bounced off of something, and there's a huge chance that they'll be thrown out of this, you know, death cage or whatever, this kill zone. So that's pretty simple. This is just how you do it. This is the setup. You just gotta have like the Macarials there, and I'm also using Evo Preview to see all of these up top to set this up. I'm gonna link the program on the description down below. But this is how I've been making ISK, and it's been great so far. I haven't been playing the game for a very long time compared to these other players who have the ability to field supers and rat with supers. Also, all my characters are very low skilled, because again, I haven't been playing for a while. I'm gonna show you my skills in a bit, and the skills you're gonna need to run this. One sec. So as you can see, you can clearly see all of your guys' health here. If anyone gets to like critical health, I just micro jump them out, especially if it's on the last wave. And you'll notice the last wave, this is the last wave. Okay, so you're gonna see all of these battleships and whatever. Ideally, you should be in a system with like multiple havens, but currently we're in a war right now. So Jason, this guy, this alt is, well, that's my main, that's my PvP main. He's taking a bunch of damage, but I'm pretty confident that he won't die yet. There you go. So I just turn off all the smart bombs, and then I just micro jump them out. And the most important thing about this is if you're extracting, like if a red comes into system or a neutral comes into system and you're extracting, just don't directly warp to like I'm just gonna save this MTU real quick. Don't directly warp into a structure, right? Don't directly warp into a CTO or whatever, because all of your smart bombing ships gets a weapons timer, gets an aggro timer, and you won't be able to tether, you won't be able to dock. So if you're just sitting there, they can scan you out, people can see you, people can still kill you. So it's better to have a safe, and you warp off to that safe, and that way, you know, it's a way safer method. You just wait for your aggression timer to go down, and then you can dock. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of like how I do havens. And let's just do another one to show you guys. Again, you warp your fleet to 0 in the haven, and then you cancel the warp on your Dominix or whatever ship you decide to not smart bomb in, and then you just warp off to like warp to a safer distance, basically. So I'm just gonna scan. I just want to see if, yeah, no one's there, so it's ours. That haven is ours, boy. One advantage of having Machariels over supers is that they align faster, they warp, so that means you get to the havens faster. And for Goon Swarm, you know, it's a first come first serve basis on like the anomalies, right? So if you get there first and you start killing rats there first, then it's basically yours until you leave or whatever. So you have claim to that anomaly. So if you get there first, it's yours. Then you're basically beating the supers to the havens, and you get to claim it first. Then you're making money and they're not. So that's one advantage. But usually, you know, if there's a super in system, I try to like give them the havens sometimes. If I've been there for a while and they haven't been getting any, I kind of feel bad. So I just message them, let them know that, you know, I'm gonna be, you know, AFK in a bit. Feel free to take all the havens. So yeah, so it's the same thing, just align. And then there's one guy, obviously no longer in range of the smart bombs, so I'm just gonna turn it all off and just wait for him to pop, so you can target him on your main. Just wait. We're just waiting. It is a bit slow. Again, my skills aren't that great for every single one of these characters. Like my most skilled up character has like 15M skill points, and the barrier of entry for this is very low. And I'll show you the skills. I'll show you the skills needed per character, like to run this as soon as possible. So yeah, we're just killing this guy. You can also run sentries on your other ships, but then like I don't want to micromanage it that much, because like sometimes all my drones die because I'm an idiot. But yeah, it's just better this way for me. I found it's easier, and again, I don't have the perfect skills, so it is better if you had a Machariel gunner in there doing DPS as well alongside your other ships. But then at the same time, you know, so same old, same old. So ideally, you're gonna be doing this in a system with like multiple havens. However, we're in a war and we don't have like all of the systems that have basically like have 4 havens are being camped by cloaky campers, and I honestly can't afford, people dropping on me. I can't afford to lose the ship once, but then that would set me back a lot. So I'd rather stay safe and stay in a system that's not camped, even if they only have 2 havens, and I'll show you how to compensate for that. You won't get as much ticks, but being safer is like, I feel being safer is more important right now than like losing my ship. I'd rather make a little bit less and be safe than make a lot more and constantly worry about having my ships getting blown up. So yeah, we're just finishing this up. And also, the loot from this is non-neglect. Like, it's a good chunk of change, the loot from these sites. So you wouldn't want to discount like the loot from this too. That's why I keep an MTU. However, it does make hostiles want to stay in your system when they come here, and you warp off. They'd want to start killing your MTU. But then that's content. Anyway, now that we've cleared out all the havens, you're gonna wonder like, so what now? Do we just wait? And that's gonna mess up your ticks, right? So you don't want to wait. You want to have the least amount of downtime as possible. So that's why I keep this here, so I can see like every time if a new haven pops up. What you can do is you can warp your fleet into Blood Raider rally points. This is a good site for smart bombing because you warp in directly on top of like the ships that you want to destroy, and all of the ships spawn in the same direction. So let me show you that in action right now while we're waiting for another haven to spawn. Right, so you can go to the Blood Raider rally points, and this is probably overkill. You can do it with 1 Machariel or 2, but 3 and like a shooter is overkill. But it's something to do, right? It's better than not doing anything and waiting for a haven to spawn. So look at this, you land directly on top of these ships, and then you just watch the magic happen, and these ships are gonna blow up really fast. And that's why I have this hidden here at the back. On low settings, you can see it. I play on low settings because screw that. Screw all of that pretty stuff. We're playing spreadsheet simulator in space. So I can see. I keep this open so I can see if any new havens spawn. And also, like, that ship escaped. Holy crap, alright. So this doesn't usually happen in, oh, there you go. This doesn't usually happen in this, anomaly. Oh, it didn't escape. Okay, cool. So we're just waiting. Killing stuff. So yeah, and the rally points turn into 6-10 escalations, which give you pretty good loot. So those are also like a good way. And actually, I was farming 6 to 10 escalations to afford like my first batch of Machariels. I was able to get 1 Machariel and then just had him farm 6-10 escalations, and made the money to buy all these other Machariels from that from all that escalation money. But yeah, let me show you the skills that you need for this setup real quick. So for all the bombing ships, you just need to be able to fly the Machariel, basically. So you just need Galante Battleship 1 and Mimtar Battleship 2, because the Machariel's bonuses, they don't do dick to like smart bomb damage or whatever, so you can just leave that out for your bomber ships. What you're gonna need is energy pulse weapons. Get that to 5 right now. For me, like, I have it to 4. What I'm focusing on right now is like the hull upgrades and the EM armor compensation, just so my ships don't die, because I live in a place where unfortunately what do you call this, power outages happen a lot. So I would rather make sure that if they do happen, then my ships don't die when I log back in. But you can definitely prioritize energy pulse weapons 1 first, and also you're gonna need to have your capacitor skills up to par. So you're gonna need also to have, you know, like power grid management and energy grid upgrades. You have to like level these up, and CPU as well, because this is a CPU, and so like the fitting skills. But the priority is like the fitting skills, and then, you know, all of these other things here, like the energy pulse weapons and the armor compensation and the whole upgrades. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then if a haven still hasn't spawned, then you can go to another rally point with your fleet. So you warp within to 0, and then you warp in within 30 for your gunner. Make sure that there's no like blood, you know, dark blood drops here, because sometimes they do, like faction drops still here. There are faction drops still on like the rally points, I believe. So just do your due diligence to like check. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna continue farming just so I can afford another account. I don't know. I don't know. Everything's been flexed, and the money, the ticks, it can range from anywhere to like from 12 million to 18. I've seen up, or if you can chain it together, you can get up to 200. Not per character, but like for each and every single character, you can get 200 million ISK per hour, and that's pretty fucking amazing. But that's like few and far between. Ideal that you're probably gonna get like around, because there will be people who's gonna interrupt you. So like I think on the low end would be like 50 million per tick. That's like the low end, and on average, so like yeah, that's 13.9. Let's see, 13.933 whatever times 4, so that was a 55 million tick. So if I'm consistently getting that in an hour, that's 167 million per hour. So not too bad, and it's not the greatest, but if you were in a system with like 4 havens, then you can definitely just chain havens together with minimal downtime, and you can get way better ticks than what I'm getting. We're currently in a war. Every system is camped, unfortunately, so this is what I gotta do to survive, you know. So that's pretty much it. This video's been long enough. I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you like the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and if you dislike the video, you can go ahead and dislike the video as well, and tell me in the comment section why you dislike the video. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.